This week on ANN, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency ramps up critical care in India and expands COVID response in Nepal and Sri Lanka.
The Adventist Church in Canada issues a statement after 215 unmarked children's graves are discovered.
And Adventists in South Colombia take part in a day of prayer for the nation.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, has delivered a new critically needed oxygen production system to the Metis Hospital in India. Metis Hospital is one of the largest Adventist hospitals treating COVID-19 patients.
The system, known as a Pressure Swing Absorption Generation Plant, or PSA, was airlifted from Italy and is being installed at the 300-bed facility located in the state of Gujarat in western India.
This PSA will provide 600 liters of medical-grade oxygen per minute, 24 hours a day, to treat critically ill COVID-19 patients. The devastating second surge of COVID-19 cases has caused severe oxygen shortages, overwhelming medical facilities throughout India.
ADRA Country Director for India, Weston Davis, says many people have been struggling and dying due to a lack of medical oxygen. We are grateful to be able to provide the new oxygen plant, which will now assist in saving more lives. This plant will ensure that the hospitals will depend much less on outside suppliers. Please continue to pray and help the people in this region. ADRA will keep on working with the Adventist Church, the Adventist healthcare systems, and other trusted partners to expand and mobilize humanitarian relief to combat the urgent situation.
ADRA plans to install additional oxygen generation plants in other medical facilities in Pune and Delhi and has already delivered hundreds of medical supplies, including PPE kits, ICU beds, and oxygen concentrators.
The International Relief Agency has been responding to the alarming crisis since the new COVID-19 outbreak was reported in April. It is monitoring 6 Adventist hospitals throughout India to strengthen the medical capacity and improve care, and collaborating with the NGO Doctors for You, as well as the Indian government, to manage COVID-19 vaccination centers in Pune and Delhi.
The humanitarian agency is also scaling up operations in other COVID-19 hotspots in Asia to aid major hospitals in Sri Lanka and Nepal as a deadly virus surges in the region.
According to health officials, India's COVID-19 variant has spread to several districts within Nepal and Sri Lanka, affecting people between 20 and 44 years old. The World Health Organization estimates the new surge has spiked the number of confirmed cases in the region to more than 28 million people and increased the death toll to more than 354,000 since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. Those numbers are subject to change daily.
In Sri Lanka, ADRA is working with the public health offices to identify urgent needs in districts and cities most affected by COVID-19. To ease the medical equipment and oxygen shortage supplies, ADRA will be supporting 2 major hospitals in the Gampara district by delivering critically needed oxygen concentrators, hospital beds, patient monitors, and protective equipment.
Last week, the Adventist Church in Canada issued a statement on the discovery of 215 unmarked children's graves at the former Kamloops Residential School Site in British Columbia, Canada. The statement says, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada mourns with the families of the Tk'emlúps to Secwépemc First Nation and all the Indigenous peoples of Turtle Island following the discovery of 215 unmarked children's graves at the former site of the Kamloops Indian Residential School. This horrific event reminds us of the troubled relationship that Canada continues to navigate with the Indigenous nations who pre-existed its founding. It presents an opportunity to recognize the truth of past and present injustices, to see the resilience of the Indigenous peoples of Canada, and together embark on a process of reconciliation to create a better Canada for all. For more information, visit nadadventist.org.
Amid the civil unrest brought on by protests in Colombia for over a month, Seventh-day Adventist leaders took part in a special prayer session for the nation. The Adventist Church was invited to participate by META, the central Colombian government's religious liberty leaders. More than 100 religious leaders and citizens of the Vista Hermosa district gathered with white balloons in hand at the city's main park to pray for peace amid a national crisis that has paralyzed businesses and left 46 people dead. District Pastor of Villavicencio, Esdras Ramirez, said, "I took 10 minutes to speak of the truth of the imminent return of Jesus while terrible things keep happening. The only hope is found in Jesus, and we must obey what the Bible teaches." Ramirez, who ministers to 6 churches and 11 small groups in the city, said it was important to pray alongside other religious leaders for a country so affected by the lingering pandemic that has claimed so many lives and caused an economic strain. At the end of the event, coined as the Day of Prayer for Peace in Colombia, Ramirez gave the missionary book of the year titled Hope for Troubled Times by Adventist evangelist Mark Finley to government officials, local leaders, religious leaders, and community members attending the event. The prayer session with Meta is one of many prayer initiatives across the church in Colombia. On May 5, the church, throughout its 9 conferences and missions in the South Colombian Union, took a day to pray for the nation through an online program on its Facebook page and YouTube channel. Church members throughout the territory spent the day praying for those affected by depression and the loss of loved ones. Churches have also held prayer vigils during the month of May as the social unrest continues in the country.
This year, the world will set aside June 20 as World Refugee Day. The Seventh-day Adventist Church recognizes June 19 as World Refugee Sabbath.
The theme for World Refugee Day 2021 is Every Action Counts, meaning everyone can make a difference, and everyone has a role to play in order to bring about change for the more than 79 million people who have been forced from their home by conflict and persecution.
This year, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency is working to continue the momentum and conversation started from its Every Child, Everywhere in School campaign.
Right now, more than half of the world's refugees are children, and refugee children are 5 times more likely to be out of school than their non-refugee peers. In fact, more than half of school-aged refugee children do not attend school.
We encourage you to watch the story of Amira coming up next. Then visit adra.org/World Refugee Sabbath to download resources on how you can start conversations around impacting the lives of refugees around the world.
My name is Amira. I used to be just a child. Now I am called a child refugee. When I was younger, we fled our beautiful home in Syria because of war. For years, we have been living in the tents in this place called a refugee camp. Life here is difficult. We have limited access to food, clean water, sanitation, and healthcare. We also can't go to a formal school. But thankfully, we have these tents to use as classrooms. I like joining my friends here. We learn to read and write. We also try to have fun and laugh a lot. When I'm with my friends, I can forget all the things that make me sad. I wish we could go to a real school, just like the kids out there. I wonder when that would be.
Coming up, Amazonia welcomes 36 young missionaries who will live in mission for the next year.
But up next, more than 2,300 people joined the Adventist Church after digital evangelism campaigns in the Caribbean.
When I first felt called to be a minister, I didn't want to be a typical pastor with a suit and a tie. One of the things I appreciated most about Christ was his ability to defy convention. Once, when I moved away from a place where I was pastoring, one of my friends said, "We're going to miss you. You're so unusual." I take that as a compliment. I'm someone who likes a challenge. I love to test my limits. I've been running for more than 35 years, most days of the week. I love to run, especially in nature. It's time alone with God where I can recharge. I run first thing in the morning so I can prepare emotionally and spiritually for whatever I might experience that day. I find my greatest fulfillment in relating to people who aren't Adventist or even Christian. We have to meet people where they are. That's what Jesus did, and it's still our responsibility today. I have friends who are Christians and atheists, gay and straight, old and young, of all races and ethnicities. I'm a biker, a runner, and a pastor. I'm extremely blessed. My name is Stephen Chavez, and this is my whole life.
Welcome back.
More than 2,300 new believers joined the Seventh-day Adventist Church after a recent 4-week evangelistic campaign streaming across dozens of islands comprising the Caribbean Union.
The virtual event drew thousands of viewers every night and finished off with the largest number of baptisms ever reached during the territory's annual evangelism efforts.
Assistant to the President for Evangelism in the Caribbean Union, Claudius Morgan, was the keynote speaker for the series. Morgan said that in previous years, evangelists and pastors focused on visiting one particular island for evangelism impact, while the other islands continued their own evangelism efforts during the same period across each territory. However, because of ongoing COVID-19 restrictions, Union evangelism efforts were carried entirely online from Barbados to the rest of the territory.
The hour-long evangelistic program ran 5 days every week and featured music by youth from throughout the territory. The program also included Bible studies on God's greatness, the Sabbath, Christian lifestyle, the gift of prophecy, baptism, stewardship, and more. More than 25,000 viewers connected every evening, with over 50,000 viewers during the Sabbath worship programs.
The program's main live stream point was the Caribbean Union's YouTube channel and was restreamed throughout the conferences and missions across the Caribbean, Jamaica, and specific locations in North America.
The series drew a large team of church leaders, young people, and technicians and social media managers who worked together to advertise and shed light on the historic event through various online platforms, including Zoom, as well as radio and television.
Morgan said a number of persons had to put off getting baptized until COVID-19 restrictions were lifted in April and May. A medical doctor in Tortola gave his life to God. A famous cricket player in St. Lucia and his family were baptized. A Sunday-keeping evangelist and her daughter were baptized in Barbados, and many hundreds more across Guyana, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and the North Caribbean islands.
The reach goal was surpassed thanks to the commitment of 32 district pastors, 5 ministerial interns, and 13 pastor administrators and directors who worked together in specific evangelistic strategies before, during, and after the evangelistic series.
Strategies included a blended approach of using live streaming as well as pre-recorded sermons for churches without internet connectivity, strong prayer movement through teams of intercessors in the districts where campaign sites were operational, and more.
Leaders are looking to intensify efforts during next year's annual evangelism efforts across the Caribbean Union territory.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, in Fiji has provided emergency funding and food support to hundreds of Fijians as the number of cases of COVID-19 community transmission continues to escalate. According to the latest ADRA Fiji Situation Report, there were 223 active COVID cases in Fiji as of May 27th, including 41 new cases recorded over the weekend of May 22 and 23. ADRA Fiji Country Director Iliapi Tuai said a lot of Fijians are in direct need of food as their livelihoods have been greatly affected due to the COVID-19 crisis. Since the second outbreak on April 17, we have been inundated with requests for food rations and other immediate needs. Tuay said emergency funding, which included contributions from the Trans-Pacific Union Mission, the Fiji Mission, ADRA Australia, and ADRA New Zealand, has enabled them to assist more than 200 families in the Central and Western divisions. ADRA South Pacific Regional Director Greg Young encouraged and continued support for the people of Fiji. Young said, through that partnership, ADRA South Pacific was able to activate the food scenario encompassed within ADRA's Fiji National Emergency Management Plan. The need is ongoing, and thank you also to those who gave to the Disaster and Famine Relief Offering, which made this intervention possible. I urge all concerned to pray for the people of Fiji and continue to support them as and when you can.
25% of Serbians are impoverished. This percentage translates into close to 1.8 million people. Inadequate living conditions in slums are recognized as one of the apparent signs of the extreme poverty that affects thousands of people in Belgrade. According to a research study by the University of Belgrade, the Roma people are the most vulnerable and affected by poverty in this region. The homeless population in Belgrade is probably the most deprived subgroup out of all socially vulnerable communities that are at an even greater risk during pandemics. The United States Agency for International Development, better known as USAID, awarded a $120,000 grant to ADRA Slovakia for the implementation of the homeless program Dromodrom in Serbia. Recently, representatives of USAID in Serbia and the Embassy of the Slovak Republic signed a memorandum of understanding. The financial award will enable the continuation of the project, specifically created to provide support to homeless people. U.S. Ambassador to Serbia, His Excellency Anthony Godfrey, said, "We're impressed by what the Slovak agency, Slovak Aid, and the Adventist organization ADRA have done for the homeless. Today, we are awarded $120,000 so that, together with you, we can continue these efforts and provide more people support. Partnerships give birth to great things." Headquartered in Belgrade, ADRA Serbia is one of 130 national offices of ADRA International that has been active in the region since 1990.
The feeling of wanting to make an impact in someone else's life and putting mission into practice was what made 22-year-old Luana Collin leave her sixth period of social work at the State University of Ponta Grossa to live a year in the mission field.
Luana represents the group of 36 young people who are linked to the 1 Year in Mission, or OYIM 2021 project in northwestern Brazil. All left home, work, or college to live the experience of being full-time missionaries in the region.
The initial training program usually takes 9 weeks, but due to the pandemic period, this edition lasted only 5 weeks.
Volunteer and group coordinator during the first stage, Eunice Bertoso, says that the training is intensive and starts with cleaning the headquarters, working in the kitchen, and taking Bible classes, amongst other activities. Eunice said being a missionary in the Amazon was a dream of hers since she was a little girl. As soon as she and her husband retired, they applied to volunteer in the region.
The training took place at the Instituto de Missões Noroeste, a suburb of Manaus, Brazil. The school, peacefully located in the center of nature, provides an environment aimed at communion with God and equipped for that first contact with the challenges of being a missionary to the Amazon.
The intensive training that young people receive as soon as they arrive is part of the preparation so that when they arrive at their mission destination, they have some practical experience in the communities of the states of Amazonas, Acre, Romario, and Rondônia.
During the missionary school training graduation, several leaders were present, including the president of Seventh-day Adventist Church for Northwestern Brazil, Sergio Alan Caseta. He said, "Our region is a mission and one of the inhospitable places that have not yet been evangelized. These young volunteers came to join the army of evangelists."
On Monday, May 31st, the young people left the Institute and went to the Amazonian communities to begin their 1 year in the mission field.
Coming up, Elizabeth Henry joins us for This Week in Adventist History.
But up next, Adventist Mission shares the story of help in Ho Chi Minh.
Are you okay? Dear VL, I can't even remember how long we've been staying at home now because of this virus. For now, it's just nice to hear your voice and see your face. Nothing beats playing outside in the dirt though. Which reminds me, are your hands clean? Yes! Mommy and Daddy says not a lot of kids get COVID-19, but it's always nice to be extra safe. We should wash our hands before picking our nose. Washing our hands protects us, but it also keeps us from spreading the virus in case we touch something dirty. Let's always be clean and safe, okay? Love, Joey.
Welcome back.
When money was tight in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, and the Adventists ran out of funds to pay for their meal service money, food poured in from members of the community.
Church members worked together to serve home-cooked meals to full crowds of people and impacted their community.
Adventist Mission has more.
Money and food poured in from members of the community when Adventists ran out of funds to pay for their meal program.
About 7 years ago, we have like a financial crisis in my city, and so a young lady in my church, she came up with the idea that we should do something for the poor people, at least to provide for them a meal. And so we start to prepare something nice for them. And at first we have only to prepare for 50 people. We put our own money and we put together, and so we prepare something simple but delicious and healthy.
Church members in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam worked together to serve home-cooked meals to a full crowd of people, children, students, retirees, and others looking for jobs. This first lunch outreach went so well that now church members prepare over 200 meals every Thursday. In total, the meals only cost about 4 million Vietnamese dong, or $180. The menu consists of rice, tofu, beans, pumpkin soup, tomatoes, and bananas. A perfect combination to fill an empty stomach.
More and more people coming. And at the moment now, every week we have 200 people come and eat our food. Sometimes we even thinking we should stop it, because if we don't have enough fun, then we go in big problem.
Maintaining this project has been a challenging task, as it invites a growing crowd. The church members see it as a way to do a simple act of kindness to people living in this huge city. This program has gained recognition and financial support from the community. Local leaders from other world religions and even local shops and individuals have joined in keeping it going.
We have people who selling vegetable at the market. We keep on buying them a lot, so many times that they asking why you buy so much. And so we have charity lunch. And so they give, okay, take this one, this week is for free. So the very week that we don't have enough money, that week we receive free rice, free vegetable from the people to give us. We never stop any single week because we don't have enough money.
Local authorities have also expressed their gratitude for the kind work and positive impact it creates in the community. But perhaps the most grateful are the ones who come to eat.
I walked past this building one afternoon and I saw this advertisement for the charity meal program. That is why I came here. Because of this program, I feel God loves me. God cares for me.
Aside from the meals, everyone is invited to join other church programs. 3 people have accepted Christ into their hearts.
Don't wait till we have all the fun. Don't wait till we have all the facility. Do whatever you can in whatever means you have it. So think of something that within your reach. You always can do something, and actually you have so many programs that you can do without money. So choose whatever you can do, and I'm sure when you do it well, and God will bless, the people will support.
There are still a lot of things that need to be done in Vietnam, and we want you to be a part of this huge work through prayer. Please pray for our church in Vietnam and for this wonderful project. May these church members continue serving the people in Vietnam so they will know more about the blessed hope.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting adventistmission.org, then click on videos at the top.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to Elizabeth Henry for a look at Adventist history.
This week, we hear about the life of musician and educator Alma Montgomery Blackman.
Welcome. This week, we look at the life of an outstanding musician and educator, Alma Montgomery Blackman. Alma was born on July 25, 1921. By the age of 5, she could read music and play the piano, and by the age of 10, she was a church organist at First Seventh-day Adventist Church in Washington, D.C. An accomplished musician, Alma earned a Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education with a minor in English from the District Columbia Teachers College, now part of the University of the District of Columbia, and a Master's of Arts. She became an educator. In 1962, she was appointed Supervisor of Kindergarten Education in the Department of Elementary Education for the District of Columbia. After her second bout with cancer in 1972, her first was in 1948, Alma moved to Oakwood. For the next 12 years, she taught in the English and music departments of Oakwood University and revitalized the Aeolians. Under Alma's direction, the Aeolians performed over 230 concerts in 32 of the 50 states, the District of Columbia, 9 countries, as well as 2 European tours as members of the Friendship Ambassadors Foundation. After the first tour, Alma accepted an invitation to travel to Russia to join in dialogue with government officials about concert exchanges between the Soviet Union and the United States. Alma was given a 5-year appointment to the General Conference Music Committee and was asked to serve as associate choral conductor at 1980 and 1985 General Conference sessions. She also worked on the Review and Herald Hymnal Committee, which worked to produce the Seventh-day Adventist Hymnal in 1985. In 1988, Alma was awarded an honorary Doctor of Music degree from Andrews University, and in 1990, an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters by Atlantic Union College. Alma died on June 10, 2009, leaving a vibrant legacy. To find out more about Alma Montgomery Blackman, please visit the Encyclopedia Seventh-day Adventist online at encyclopedia.adventist.org. This has been a look at this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Did you know the Adventist Church has a YouTube channel where you can watch ANN Video, ANN In-Depth, and plenty of other amazing videos on prophecy, health, and Bible study?
Just go to YouTube and search for the Adventist Church. Click the subscribe button to make sure you're caught up each week.
And remember, leave a comment or a prayer request. We have people praying for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verses 13 and 14.
The passage says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.